My girlfriend's ex crashed our Disney trip and it cost me everything. Ashley and I have been together for 3 years. Her kids, Emma, 12, and Lucas, 9, are good kids. I'm not their dad, but they've always been polite and respectful. My parents, Margaret and Robert, have bought them Christmas and birthday gifts ever since they met them 2 years ago at our first family Thanksgiving together. I remember when I first met Ashley at a mutual friend's barbecue. She was hesitant to date anyone because of her kids, but we hit it off immediately. I knew about her ex-husband, David, from the beginning. He'd left her for Sarah, a younger woman from his office, when Emma was 9 and Lucas was 6. It was messy, but Ashley handled it with grace, always putting the kids first. The past 3 years haven't always been easy. Blending families never is, but we made it work. I learned to navigate the delicate balance of being a father figure without overstepping. The kids would spend every other weekend with David and Sarah, who now had their own 2-year-old, Madison. Those weekends, Ashley and I would have date nights, try new restaurants, or just enjoy the quiet. I had a particularly good year at work. My software development company landed 3 major contracts, and I wanted to do something special for the kids. They'd never been to Disney World, and Ashley mentioned how Emma would watch Disney vlogs on YouTube, dreaming about meeting the princesses. Lucas was obsessed with Star Wars, and with Galaxy's Edge now open, it seemed perfect. One evening, after the kids were in bed, Ashley and I sat on the deck with glasses of wine, planning the trip. We decided on Christmas break, 7 days of pure magic. I wanted to go all out, so I booked the Grand Floridian. Ashley's eyes widened when I showed her the confirmation. "Are you sure?" she asked. "It's so expensive. But I wanted this to be special. Our first real family vacation together." Things started going sideways when Ashley mentioned the trip to David during a custody exchange. He immediately inserted himself into our plans, saying he'd always wanted to take the kids to Disney for the first time. I should have seen it coming. David had a habit of trying to one-up everyone else when it came to the kids, even though he could rarely follow through. When Ashley brought up David's request to join us, I was in the kitchen making dinner. I remember the spaghetti sauce bubbling on the stove as she casually mentioned it, like it wasn't about to derail our entire vacation. "He really wants to be there for their first Disney experience," she said, stirring the pasta. Sarah and Madison would come too. I tried to explain how this was supposed to be our family vacation. We'd been planning it for months. The reservation was made, the itinerary drafted. I had even researched the best spots to watch the fireworks and which rides to hit first thing in the morning. But Ashley kept pushing, saying how much it would mean to the kids. The argument escalated over the next few days. I gave in, thinking maybe we could make it work. We'd do some activities separately, have our own space. But then came the real kicker. David and Ashley had been talking behind my back, making alternative plans. One evening, Ashley sat me down in the living room, the kids upstairs doing homework. "David can't afford the Grand Floridian," she started. I knew where this was heading. They'd already decided I should change our reservation to somewhere cheaper, a Disney Springs hotel, and use the difference to pay for an extra suite for David and his family. The audacity of it hit me like a bucket of cold water. Their idea of David pitching in was him paying for flights for Sarah and Madison. Everything else, the hotel rooms, park tickets, meals, would come from my pocket. For a man who'd walked out on his family to take his new wife and kid on vacation on my dime. I said no. Firmly. Ashley didn't take it well. "The kids really want their dad there," she argued. "You're being selfish. You can afford it." She was right about one thing, I could afford it. But that wasn't the point. I'd worked hard for my money, built my company from scratch. Being able to afford something didn't mean I was obligated to spend it on my girlfriend's ex-husband and his new family. The fight that followed was explosive. Emma and Lucas could probably hear us from upstairs, but at that point, I was too angry to care. Ashley accused me of being petty and jealous of David. I pointed out how manipulative it was to make plans involving my money without consulting me. She brought up all the times I'd said I wanted to treat the kids like my own. I reminded her that treating them like my own didn't extend to bankrolling their father's vacation. In the end, I did what I thought was fair. I gave Ashley the park tickets I'd bought for her and the kids. I canceled our flights and the Grand Floridian reservation. I told her David was welcome to take them himself if he wanted to be there so badly. The irony wasn't lost on me, he'd have to step up and actually pay for something himself. Ashley was furious. She'd already bought new luggage for the kids, gotten their passports updated, even bought them new Disney-themed clothes. When she threw this in my face, I offered to reimburse her for all of it. That just made her angrier. "It's not about the money," she said. But it was about the money, Just not my money being spent on the kids. It was about my money being spent on David. Then David had the nerve to call me. I was at work when his number popped up on my phone. I almost didn't answer, but part of me wanted to hear what he had to say. He launched into this self-righteous speech about how I was hurting his kids, how they'd been so excited about the trip, how I was being petty and small-minded. That's when I lost it. You want to talk about hurting the kids? I asked. How about when you walked out on them to play house with Sarah? How about when you missed Lucas's birthday last year because Madison had a cold? How about all the child support payments that mysteriously arrive late whenever you and Sarah want to take a weekend trip? He spluttered something about that being different, about how I had no right to judge his past actions. I hung up on him mid-sentence. The next few days were tense. Ashley barely spoke to me. The kids could sense something was wrong, but they didn't know the details yet. I overheard Ashley on the phone with David several times, probably trying to figure out how to salvage the trip. Part of me felt guilty, not about refusing to pay for David's vacation, but about disappointing Emma and Lucas. One evening, I came home to find Ashley packing boxes in our bedroom. She'd told the kids about the change of plans, blamed it all on me. They were devastated, she said. Emma wouldn't come out of her room, and Lucas had thrown his Star Wars toys in the trash, though I noticed them back on a shelf later. I think we need some time apart, Ashley said, folding her clothes into a suitcase. The kids need stability, and right now, you're not providing that. The irony of her words wasn't lost on me. Stability wasn't letting their flaky father hijack every special moment. Stability wasn't teaching them that they could manipulate people into paying for things by playing the guilt card. She took the kids to her sister's house that night. The house felt empty without them. I sat in Lucas's room, looking at his Star Wars posters and the Lego sets we'd built together. On his desk was a drawing he'd made of all of us at Disney World, me, him, Emma, Ashley, and yes, even David, Sarah, and Madison. It made my chest hurt, but it didn't change my mind. A week has passed now. Ashley's still at her sister's. David's been telling everyone who'll listen what a terrible person I am. My parents called to ask what happened. Apparently, David's mother had reached out to them on Facebook to share her thoughts about my cruel behavior. Even our mutual friends seem divided on the issue. I've started to wonder if this is the beginning of the end for Ashley and me. 3 years of building a life together, of loving those kids like my own, might be unraveling because I refused to finance a family vacation for the man who walked out on them. The thing is, I don't regret my decision. I regret that it might cost me my relationship, but I can't be the guy who lets himself be manipulated just to keep the peace. Yesterday, I got a text from Emma. Just 2 words, I understand. She didn't elaborate, and I didn't push. But maybe, just maybe, she sees what this is really about. Not about money, not about Disney World, but about respect and boundaries. Ashley called this morning. She wants to talk when she drops the kids off at school tomorrow. Maybe we'll work this out, maybe we won't. But I know one thing for sure, if we do stay together, we need to establish some clear boundaries when it comes to David. I can't be the ATM that finances his attempts to play super dad whenever it suits him. I don't think I'm in the wrong here, but maybe an outside opinion would help. Although at this point, I'm not sure it matters. Sometimes being right doesn't feel much different from being wrong. The kids are still hurt, Ashley's still gone, and that family vacation we planned is just another casualty in the complicated dance of blended families and bruised egos. The tickets for Ashley and the kids are still on my desk. Non-refundable. A reminder of how quickly things can fall apart when you stand your ground. But also a reminder that sometimes, standing your ground is all you can do, even if it means watching everything you've built crumble around you. Maybe it will be ex-girlfriend soon. But at least it won't be because I let someone walk all over me. That's something, right?